guys, and it is J2. Over here we got the new to me Bullet. This is a Gen 3 5.3 liter. I picked this bad boy up over at Kessel's Tuning and Performance. Gave me a great deal. Even came with some of his natural grass clippings, but that's okay. We are going to be good to go. We're going to get this thing cleaned up, use some aircraft stripper, some oven cleaner, get it nice, shiny, polished up, spray that thing black just like the old unit, and then get that thing sticked right back in that vehicle. So over here we can look over at these rods and pistons that were still in the motor, but obviously were hurt on the way out. So obviously we remember where that one was. That one's new to me, that one's new to you, and that one's new to everybody else. So these things are all junk. Now the rods themselves are a little beat up, but if you didn't know, Gen 4 has these little clips. You can remove the rods from the pistons. Gen 3s, you cannot do that. So Gen 3s, the rod and piston are press fits. You cannot remove them. I have another set of Gen 3 rods and pistons right here. These are the heads that came off of that thing. They were 862s. And then my heads over here, which are 243s. So that being said, I have another set of Gen 4 rods and pistons here. These have the valve release in them, so that might save us next time if we end up using that set. These are the only 3 rods and pistons that came out of our Grenade motor that were savable. Now, like I said, I have this setup. I got this new low-car oil pan off of a great friend of mine. Can't give him enough shout-outs. A bunch of bearings and stuff that are savable. Obviously, everything looks nice, clean, and was burning and doing what it needed to do right. So all we'll need to get is one head and then decide what we're going to do about rods and pistons, and then the cleaning process, and then sticking it back in the car. All right, guys, so it's been a little while since our last clip. That was from a few days ago. As you can see, I have most of the motor assembled here. Obviously, the whole driver's side is complete. Intake manifold's ready to go. Already got my injectors, everything on here ready to go. Why don't we have one head on it? That is because we have one exhaust manifold bolt that we were drilling out. I had started on that head. I already have all the guts and like my valve springs. Everything was already in this one. I ended up drilling too far and pushing right through the water jacket. So luckily for me, I have another 243 head here. I've already cleaned it up, and we're going to extract this one bolt, stick it on the motor while it's in the car. No reason to have me holding up and waiting. Basically, I need to get the motor in there. That way I can start wiring stuff and putting things in the places that it needs to be. As you can see, the engine bay is looking real nice. I ended up cutting out that whole wiper cowl firewall, like that 2-piece, a little piece of metal. Ended up saving me around 7 pounds, so it's pretty nice, pretty easy. Obviously cleaned up a lot of wiring, added some more ground. So now we got a ground on this side, ground over there. Got the grounds for the Holly. I have a whole bunch of stuff, just a lot nicer and in a lot better spot. We also went ahead and did the battery relocation kit. It is now in the trunk. I will show you guys that later on. But just for now, let's get right into throwing this thing in the car. All right, so we're back. I'm sorry I didn't show you guys a full time lapse to get the motor set in the car. It was a pain in the dick. Ended up being the converter not pressed all the way into the trans. Obviously, that is a big problem. Ended up dropping the transmission, pulling drive shaft, yada, 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 just to get this thing to sit in there where it needed to be. Already started, obviously, laying out my wiring harness, my oil feeds, my alternator wiring, all the odds and ends and stuff like that is already getting plumbed and set up where they're going to be and where they're going to stay. Now, for this cylinder head, have it over here. This is a 243 head that I'm drilling an exhaust manifold bolt out of. I have another one over here that I had already started that process on last night. Have all my dual valve spring 660 BTR kit in this head, but ended up drilling too far into that hole and pushing exactly straight through the water jacket. So this head is now a brick. So luckily for me, I have another one. Just like I said, take all the guts out of that one, put it in this one. Once we get this hole drilled out, we'll shove that thing right on the motor and then get our intake manifold, which is fully ready to go and is dressed and whatnot with our injectors, throttle body, fuel pressure sensor, Everything is already switched over on this manifold and ready to plop down on the car. Also, obviously moved around some stuff. Got my block back there. Got my catch can over here. Got to run a new line. Basically, I'm going to have to run a longer style dash 10 line to the head on this side, since the one I had is super short and not long enough at all. Only other thing I have to do basically under the car is we're going to reseal up the transmission gasket, well, for the pan, and then throw a drive shaft in it. So there's no big deal, some small things. I will get back to you guys in a few minutes. Hopefully I'll have this thing all buttoned up and get ready to fire it up. Guys, so as you can see, it moves, got a good bill of health. Ended up replacing the Turbo 400 transmission pan with a TCI pan, deep style. Basically I had the stock one, had no drain plug, was a pain in the ass. Kept on trying to fix a leak on it, wouldn't fix it. Put a new pan, fix my leaks. But for this, we are good, we are running, we are driving, great bill of health. Everything's doing as it should, running as cool as it needs to be. This has been a lot of work, a little more than I expected. I'm going to go ahead and wash the car up now, but this is where I'm going to end this video. It's been a little long. So, the next video, hopefully we might be on the dyno with this thing. So, remember to go down, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.